Hi everyone, welcome back to more for the 2024 Stone Burner Open. I'm your host and commentator, BlackShadow, and today we're continuing our coverage of the group stages for the competition. Interesting game coming up for you guys today here, as we're going to look at Group L, and here is the table, and note that this is indeed my group. This unfortunately has encountered some delays, again due to the fact of my previous ill health, and obviously all the various implications that has done. So that has admittedly hindered some of the playing here, but I have been given permission to cover a match today, which I'm not playing in, but this one is going to be featuring Fumbles, Powerkek, Batata, also known as WNZTA, as well as Fenderico, who I got the pleasure of meeting at the most recent North Carolina Invitational event a couple of months or so ago, and had a decent run as well. I think he made, did he make semi-finals? I think it was. So he walked away with a little bit of cash from that, so good on him. Only one game played so far, as you can see here, and this was won by Powerkek, who won it match with Muad'Dib, scoring 12 victory points over Gurney, Staban, and Emperor Shaddam as well. Which does mean it's pretty early doors for this group. It's a tough one regardless, though. There are good players all about here. Very probably the group of death for this tournament, and of course naturally I put myself into it. Also, of course, a note as well, we do have of course Sneaker Dead in this, very noted regular, who's of course a finalist in both the North Carolina Invitationals as well as making deep runs in our XMO competitions, and there will definitely be eyes on Seeker to see how he performs in our first Uprising competition. You know, you would back him to probably do pretty well and to go for another deep run here, but you know, sometimes things go weird and you have a couple of dicey games, and the thing is, well, as I've mentioned with a couple of players, is that name value does come up on occasion, and it's something that I encounter as a streamer, and other players as well, Lannister's talked about before as well, that when people know your name, people will play at you a lot more than perhaps they might do otherwise, out of just fear. And that is something that I think came up once or twice in the XMO competition, where maybe players tried to, or maybe players could have done. So we should see how that plays out. But that's not relevant for today. Today we have got the separate match. Alright, so I guess I was ready for the match here. Just going to start prior because there's still a bit of seat shuffling stuff going on, but I've been told, right, it should be fixed now. Anyways, first position is ended up in the red seat, which is amazing. 3 out of 4 games have been red seat have ended up in that, which means Fenderico we pick in first in blue. So we've got the opening stuff for the game here. Opening contracts are kind of mid-gamey, which is interesting. We've got the High Council rebate and the so-called Waterliner. The 2 water from Highliner kind of making it very much similar to what it used to be back in the old days. Very, very strong. Obviously, very nice synergy with that to likes of Research Station or even back to Deep Desert, that sort of thing. Can be very, very powerful indeed, but not quite as immediately impactful potentially as the Troop version can be. As for the Imperium row, we have a lot of juicy cards here, and this is going to put some tension on the opening to see if people are going to reveal here. A couple of very desirable cards. Price of no object, very powerful. The early Solari is also pretty good, and being able to use Solari later on to take cards into your hand instead of Persuasion, very, very powerful. Junction Headquarters is, in theory, a good-looking card, but it's not easy to get the Alliance, and then even so, you've got to get the Intrigue and Spice together to trade for the point, which is a little bit tricky to hold onto sometimes. But a lot of throwing cards as well. Watermaster, very powerful, very desirable, good throwing bonding. Shishakli, one of the stronger cards in the game, being able to trash and draw, and obviously for regarding for the throwing bond. And then Arrakis Revolt as well, one of the promo cards for the game. It's the one that came out with pre-orders, I think it was. Either way, incredibly powerful as well. So lots and lots of juicy choices here. This is one of the more stat rows we've had in the competition so far. Which means it'll be interesting if anyone's going to decide to reveal early. But even revealing late doesn't feel the worst here. Lots of good options. As for leaders, here are our 7. We are missing Fade Ralpha, and we are missing Irulan, which seems good. I'll be honest, pretty much everyone here looks pretty solid here. I don't think there's any particularly bad options. Staban would be a little bit tricky to use, unless you maybe go specifically first position. Other than that, I think anyone here is of any use. Even like the likes of Amber or even Jessica. Like if you're feeling to go a little bit creative here, I can definitely see some use here as well. So a lot of choices here. I think in a way, because there's quite a wealth of options here, I think that makes it a little bit tricky to know who to pick. Gurney Halleck, I'm not surprised to see in 4th here. That's not a shock at all. You know, if in doubt, take Gurney Halleck. There is some truth to the mantra here. And this seems like a pretty solid time to pick him here. Just has a nice plethora of options. Someone like Fade actually would have been really good here as well, I think, to not be immediately committal to a strategy. Give yourself a lot of flexibility towards sort of in the mid-game here. I expect we'll see Margot with all that juicy city access, the like Watermaster, Shishakli, and Arrakis Revolt. I would expect to see Margot taken here more often than not. Probably Muad'Dib second. And then I'm not so sure who Alex is going to take in the first seat. Shaddam would be interesting, but maybe a little bit tricky. But he can definitely expect that all the warriors are going to be probably out in front of him. So a chance to kind of take a little bit of a niche, try and get to himself. So I could see Shaddam getting picked, perhaps. Maybe Shaddam just absolutely barreling the Spacing Alliance, looking to pair it with Junction Headquarters. I could definitely see that happening. It's a little risky. You prefer to do that in the second seat than first, because it's a bit harder to get yourself guaranteed access to double deliver supplies, deep desert shipping, but you might be able to make it happen. And I think, well, interesting, so Fumbles take Shaddam instead, so I think that's the strategy he's going to go for here. I have a funny feeling. It makes me think Muad'Dib's going to get taken here in first seat. Hard to see turning him down with such a strong-looking row here. Looks very, very appetizing to go for. And that's what we indeed see. So I think that's what we're going to see here from Shaddam, but we'll keep an eye on the plans. Okay, here we go then. Opening conflict. Oh, man. It is the Influence Skirmish here. Every single person here would like to win this, either for Wooks or for pairing. Everyone wants a piece of this. Muad'Dib's pulled Ring and Diplo. Same for Shaddam, which makes winning this hard. He's got double daggers. That's a bit tricky for him. Margot with the one faction access. Very high potential otherwise. I think she might just go faction reveal for Prices No Object. Could definitely see that happening. Gurney's got a Diplo but no ring. And he's in the 4th position. No city access either. So a bit of a tricky opening for Gurney coming. The usual Fremke opening up for Muad'Dib. Pauses other faction access, which I didn't really want to do here, I don't think. But he was always likely to find it between that and his signet ring anyways. So, you know, that's what it is. He has no daggers, though. That makes combat potential a bit tricky here. Shaddam, yep, just going to go down this strategy of Junction by the looks of it. So Margot can do a couple of things here. Could go Dutiful, Secret seems fine. Could go Desert Tactics and reveal early. But you wouldn't be able to trash anything out of your hand if you did, if you want to get Prices No Object. But she might just trash a Dune and just look to reveal early for Shishakli. Could definitely see that happening. Muad'Dib's got 6 Persuasion himself, by the way, so he's going to look at the likes of Arrakis Revolt. Looks very, very powerful for Muad'Dib here. But I think that's what Margot's going to do here, is she's going to put in all 3, trash Dune, and reveal early for Shishakli. I think that's what's going to happen here. I don't think he's going to do this and not trash, so giving up on Prices No Object. Gurney, I guess, is just going to take a contract and see what he draws. Pause his second dagger, which is a little awkward. Means if he goes to a mining spot to put 2 troops in, he will get his always smiling ability and get the persuasion back effectively. But he wants to use his Diplo here. Muad'Dib is just going to go Assembly Hall here. Picks up the Fopter matching intrigue, which isn't ideal, but I guess he's got it. Just again, he's just guaranteeing Arrakis Revolt here. I'm surprised he didn't go Arakeen though. Shaddam's in a weird spot. I wouldn't hate Shaddam actually like using Arakeen here with Recon and just getting it in. I would not hate it, but people see they've got the ring first spin, they feel like they should use it. But I honestly don't hate getting stuck in here with the double daggers. You don't have to use the ring first round. Like, Shaddam's one of those ones where you can sometimes not get involved here, but he's just going to resource up. Those double daggers, that hurts a bit. Margot's going to take the risk here of getting to Shishakli here. Maybe she thinks Watermaster's also just fine. Wants to make sure they win the combat as well with no daggers, which they're going to be able to do here. Wow, look at this. Muad'Dib's going to get second place here for a troop. It's kind of cooked. Gurney just going in contracts early, taking espionage as well. Muad'Dib with 6. Surely Arrakis Revolt is the take here. Arrakis Revolt looks so, so good. But he might go for Prices No Object as well. Both are very strong. But I think with Muad'Dib, you want to get in worms in ASAP. And those 3 swords on that reveal of Axel is so good. I think I'd be going Revolt, personally. I just think it's slightly better for you. But it looks like he's going to go for price. Just do it manually. So he's just going to take it, just take price on the object here. Occasionally it does happen, I've noticed that. Leadership pops off here. So nothing for that. Margot does get to Shishakli. I think a little bit fortunate, actually, to find her way there. I think it was a little risky. And Gurney with 3. Watermaster seems reasonable. Delivery agreement turning up here as well. So a bit of fun with the cards here at the moment. Don't know what's going on. It's still early days in the mod, you know. So, yeah. Muad'Dib will, I guess, will take second place for cheap. Margot gets the pair. And will obviously go down hooks early. She will have eyes on Arrakis Revolt if she can get there. But it's going to be difficult. Mercenaries picked up for Muad'Dib here. That could be of interest. Second up is Spice Refinery. So no worms for Margot this round, if she was her intention. I think she's just going to block up the Fremen here, I would expect. Shaddam continuing down the path as noted. And I expect that is exactly what we're going to see. Yep, just block up Fremkit. No surprises there. Just trying to delay things. Slow people down. So Gurney's got his ring. He's got his Sikh allies as well. A few options. Doesn't pair for him. It's not a great conflict for him, truthfully. But that spy position's pretty nice. Do you ever go Hagar Basin early for the spice? I don't think so. He might talk himself into Desert Tactics, I think. Yeah, and he does. Does talk himself into Desert Tactics. He's going to get stuck in here. He's surely putting in all 3 troops, I would imagine, for his always smiling. I guess if he's going to get there. Trashes his recon first. Interesting. I guess he feels he's got Watermaster, so he can make the trade out there. Muad'Dib's just going to go resources here. He's poured prices no object immediately, so he can actually just reveal and get Swordmaster next round, which is pretty nice. Trying to get this on the cheap. Shaddam, surely, you imagine, just goes Deep Desert, puts in 2 troops. He's going to have buckets of spice, loads of shipping hits. But he's got 6 persuasion. Shaddam might reveal here early to guarantee Junction headquarters. If that's the plan that Fumbles is going for. No. He's going to cut off the loose spice here from Margot. And he's going to build up Deep Desert here. But he's going to have to get his way to Junction. I imagine that's part of the plan. Margot, of course, just sieges. No shock. Can't really put the troop in. You got double daggers, though. It's tempting. And she's going to fight for it. It's going to make Muad'Dib have to do something. Gurney's off to Arakeen. Pulls his Diplo. It's a little unlucky. I mean, you've got to put in at least 1 more troop here for always smiling. If not, 2 more. Depends what you want to do. I think 3 is actually fine. He's looking obviously to see if Shaddam's got any daggers. Which he doesn't, like. And he's got no intrigues. The dagger's up the top there, so he thinks... He's trying to work out, is Muad'Dib going to go over the top of him here? Hard to see how he does outside of his intrigue, which he's got. And if he's going to do it, he's going to do it. I think 3 is probably fine, actually. Second place is okay. You can live with it. But I think 4 is fine. Depends how you see it. Depends if you want to make sure to win this. And the Spice Refinery round 2 is pretty good. You're going to make money out of that. Get you potentially to some high council later on. And when you've got no resources, it might be worth fighting. I think specifically because he's got no resources, I might commit the extra troop. Decides he's not going to in the end. He's just going to go for free and let what happens happen. So Muad'Dib would have to go put more troops in here if he wants to get anything out of the fight. It might make him go Hagar Basin. He's going to get spice. He can put in the troop. And he knows he'll be good against Margot. And 3rd place is 2 spice here. That is very significant. He's not getting to Siege anytime soon by the looks of it. Gurney's likely to cut him off, so... I think Hager Basin is going to net you 5 spice. It denies a couple spice to Margot as well, which feels pretty good. You know you're getting Swordmaster next round. That can't be stopped. I don't see a reason to play Mercenaries here. I think it's a bit unnecessary. I think Hager Basin is fine. He's also looking at contracts as well. The Arakeen Water contract is out there, which does look nice, but it's going to be a little bit tricky to get there anytime soon. The alternative is you Assembly Hall and have 6 Persuasion, and that gets you to like Arrakis Revolt or Junction Headquarters. So it depends how you see it. Does anyone else have 6 Persuasion out there? Probably not. So he figures that's a bit better for him. So he's going to concede the 2 spice to look to get Arrakis Revolt here, which is probably fine. Picks up Shadow Alliance. Could be useful later. Shaddam taking Delivery Agreement. Could be interesting to see if he's going to get the value out of that, though. We'll see. Margot with Desert Survival, going more Fremen. Gurney with 5. I imagine he's going to take Leadership. A couple of decent cards there. Beast Wars out there. Keep loads of city access. I think he'll go Leadership. He does. And I assume Muad'Dib's taking Arrakis Revolt here. Reminder of Arrakis Revolt, you still need hooks to make that work. It's not like some other things where, you know, Desert Ambush, for example, you still need the hook, I believe, and the water supply. No! He's going Faction Access. Interesting. He's thinking of synergy between that and Price of No Object here, but I'm a little bit surprised about that. Piers of Steersman. It's a big card there. That could be of definite interest. But I'm surprised that he's turned down Arrakis Revolt twice now. Like, I'm very surprised about that. Again, maybe he thinks because of the hooks it's going to be difficult to get there, but such a good card. That's just going to be value later. Interesting. I guess he's taking Make a Keeper now as well, right? No? Okay. So, nothing to do here. So, blue wins it. It's 2 spice apiece for Margot and green. And we'll move on here. Gurney gets a spy. I assume he's putting it on espionage. I would have thought, because he's got espionage contract. But he might figure he wants to guarantee the hook access. And he's concerned about that. Or block up the Hager Basin spy. I think it's either this or Bene Gesserit for me. I don't really like sending it to Siege right now. Maybe he thinks he's going to get to espionage anyways, which is possible. We'll see. Alright, more world conflicts going up. Imperial Basin is next. Spice is building up a Hager Basin here. That might convince Margot to just take the spice and call it a day, but she's going to need to obviously get the water. Could just go Hager Basin Siege and get the water back. But I don't think she can turn down 4 spice at Hager Basin. I think she's going to get involved here. The question is, do you play Shishakli or do you reveal her for the bump? I think you don't play Shishakli here. I think that guaranteed Ferrum bump gets the alliances pretty strong here. I suspect we'll see Desert Survival, trash out Dune, and then we'll probably just go Arakeen. Maybe Spice Refinery, we'll see. But that's my expectation here. But I think Shishakli, this is the one time you want to reveal it and get that bump and get that alliance. It's netting you water, which you're spending for Hager Basin as well already, so it seems pretty good to me. Gurney wants a piece of this. I think Gurney Hallett might well make his way to Arakeen here. He's going to refinery it first. He's got the double daggers, though. This is something that he would like to win. There's obviously Muad'Dib also does have a mouse, though. He's pulled both his faction cards. Obviously, didn't use Seek Allies the first time. So it's going to be faction, Swordmaster, faction. Probably just goes Fremkit, yep. Pulls his ring. I don't think he'll be using that. He put in a troop last time and didn't get anything for it. I don't think there's a need to put in a troop right now. It depends. If you're going to use your Diplo, for sure, maybe you should put it in. Decides not to. So, the shipping begins, of course. As noted. No surprise. This is the clear strategy. He's just got to get hold of Junction Headquarters now. That's the one thing he's got to do. Kind of crazy he's got there without having to go deep desert, by the way. That's very unusual to see that. That's kind of the way it's gone down. He can't get to 6, though. Even High Council doesn't get him there. Margot does go Arakeen. Contract taken from Gurney. Going very heavy down the street. Pulls his ring. That's a little unfortunate. So Arakeen Contract going very heavy down this contract route here. Looking to kind of really accelerate mid-game. Swordmaster from Muad'Dib. And I don't know where Shaddam's going here. Shaddam's only legal spot to go is Research Station, which he's not going to. He'd have to go to Assembly Hall, I guess. Or he's going to go accept contracts and build up more water. That's the alternative as well. So just kind of waiting around for now. Margot takes the Alliance. A couple of swords as well. For Persuasion. Surely you just make a Keeper or something here. Spores has some maybe use, but you don't have any symbols, so I think Make a Keeper is the stronger choice here. Now, interesting spot here. Muad'Dib might go Desert Tactics once on a blue moon. Because he can trash a dagger that he doesn't need. He's going to get the water back, and he's got Shadow Alliance. Which means Muad'Dib can attack the Fremen Alliance a lot more freely here. I don't think that he's going to go Desert Tactics, but I wouldn't hate it. You've got your Swordmaster. It's the perfect time to get rid of that dagger. And, you know, you can just put the troop in and you're just getting your water back. I don't hate it. I think it's fine to do so. Make Keeper taken. Instead of Trade comes off next. Very, very strong card. That will interest Gurney Halleck later on. Takes B spoils. So I think that's the way to look. Like, Muad'Dib does also want to go to Siege, of course. And Siege is also fine. The problem is he's having to cycle his deck, which he doesn't really want to do. He's not going to see any of these cards next round. He's going to leave his hand a bit awkward. Potentially. If you Desert Tactics, I totally get it. And it's going to put pressure on Margot, who feels like she's going to protect it, but figures just got to get hooks. So he's gonna take a spin here on his hand, and hopefully he doesn't draw too terribly. Not looking for, like, his Price of No Object or his Southern Elders, which is exactly what he finds. Although saying that, actually, it's not too bad, because the Ferrenborn is for the Persuasion. Oh my goodness me. Muad'Dib's actually fluked his way into Deep Desert. Oh my goodness me. That is insane. Wow, well that's terrible news for Shaddam. Shaddam tried to be a little greedy the round prior, not taking the Deep Desert Spice, and he's gonna lose it. And I guess considering the combat, I guess he was always gonna lose it here. So Shaddam, by shipping, he didn't draw the access was the problem. He determined that he wanted to go smuggling, going to shipping more than Deep Desert, and now he's going to lose the spice there, so this is a huge boon for Muad'Dib. Because Gurney's going to win it. Wow. This is the one thing you want if you're going a Worm Leader, is for someone who's building up the spice to beat them to it. It's a massive, massive boon. Nothing to be played here, of course, so Gurney wins it. And it's a spice and a water and a troop even for his opponents. And we'll move on. But yeah, this is a huge moment for Muad'Dib. He's got free actions as well. If this is a juicy conflict... if it's a juicy conflict, he's going Deep Desert and he's going on an adventure. Unbelievable. Home security is very, very powerful worm conflict, this. I wonder if Margot might highline this conflict. I don't know. Feels expensive, but I can see worlds where she might do it. Goni has not drawn any way for him to get to Swordmaster. Although he doesn't have the money for it anyways, so... Bit awkward for him. He does have the Fremen Bond for Watermaster, so he probably doesn't want to play. He's happy just to reveal for the couple of spice. Espionage feels like it can't be a bad move here. It's still open. The spy spot's there. You've got the contract. You want to start scoring these, right? And between Refinery and Imperial Basin, like, you are going to generate some resources here. So he's going to go to Fremkit first here. Trying to pull... I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to pull, truthfully. I expect he won't get involved. A little bit surprised with that, but I mean, maybe he thinks he's going to get espionage anyways. I don't know. It's kind of weird to see how this round's going to go down. But Muad'Dib surely is just deep deserting and chucking in worms and his troop. Like, how... Nothing else makes any lick of sense here, surely. He's trying to work out what to do with price of no object. The answer is I don't think there is much he can do. This is just an auto... It's an auto move. And Shaddam is going to be a bit annoyed here. I think Shaddam... He might go Basin... With the idea being he can Swordmaster and then ship again. But he has to get to 6 Persuasion. He's got to get to 6 Persuasion here. He's got to get Junction Headquarters ASAP now. Surely this is the plan. Gonna Swordmaster first, just in case something crazy happens. I don't think there's any way he could have lost that, by the way, but... I think he could have done something else there, but, you know, better safe than sorry, I guess. Margot's got their ring down, I think. I'm not going to look. It does annoy me when people do this, but, you know, that's how some people play. Margot's got to decide if she wants to get involved in this fight or not. It's really hard to do so, but it also feels terrible letting Muad'Dib just win this. I don't hate going, like, accept contract. Wow, research station. Not even going to go hang a basin and chuck in a worm here. What? She's after Steersman. She's after Steersman here. That's what's going on. Wow. Gurney does get to espionage. Pulls B spoils. Now he wishes he'd put a troop in. I'm surprised he didn't put a troop in at Fremkit, truthfully. I was expecting him to put in at least one, just to charge a price for the conflict. And he'll be a little annoyed that he hadn't done so now, but there's nothing he can do about it. He's going to guarantee himself access to his hooks. But it's really, the problem is he's very reliant on his spies, though, is the only issue. He's shown twice that he really wants to make sure he gets the siege. And he is going to commit to it. Muad'Dib can't do anything really with price except for just using it for faction access. Secret seems okay. Do you go dutiful service and take the Highliner contract? It's a very potent one, and it's very scary. Not going to worry about it right now. Just going to take some cash so he can use price as no object. No, he's going to use it for mercenaries. Okay. Feels he's got to fight for this. So respins the intrigue. Oh no. Oh no, that's not fair to give that to Muad'Dib. The only thing is he doesn't have any spies down. That's the only thing to be noted. He has no spies down. He's going to have to generate one somewhere, which means he's going to have to get himself to espionage pretty shortly. One extra troop in. I don't think he'd ever commit any more into the fight than this. Doesn't really make a ton of sense. I mean, it is mandatory. Yeah. Imperial Basin, shipping, I expect is what we're going to see here. But he's got his Diplo. He might use that instead. I'm not sure. Margot's got 7. Does she want to win this? It's impossible. She can't win this. There's nothing she can do here. Unless she's going to highline. You'd think Margot would much prefer to just go Assembly Hall to pick up Steersman here, right? You'd be a little worried that Gurney might have the 8 Persuasion, but it's really hard to have 8 Persuasion with 5 cards. And he didn't put any troops in either. I think you could dagger Assembly Hall and be fairly happy. I don't feel like Maker Keeper is the right option. I'd use Diplo instead, personally. I don't really like this. You're only getting a spice for it. You're not even getting the water from the Bene Gesserit, which is the more valuable part of the card, really. I just feel like Assembly Hall pretty much guarantees Steersman. Diplo is also fine. Unless you're going to double draw, I guess. But you're still, it's still hard to get to 8. I'm not a fan of this. I just think it's unnecessarily risky. I just think Assembly Hall is just much more smoother here. Like, how you can't win the fight by going Arakeen either. Like, what are you looking for? Looking for Shishakli, looking for, like, Desert Survival, I guess. It's Shishakli's she's looking for, basically. I just think Steersman's more important here. What's it, round 4? You've gone through most of your deck here. Or a large part of it. You got a 10-card deck. Like, having Steersman with, like, a 10, 11-card deck is absolutely nuts. That's just the way I see it. I just don't think this is the best route. Unless you don't care about Steersman, you're going for Arrakis Revolt. But then it's a lot easier that Gurney takes that in front of you. And Gurney will take it if he can. I just feel like, given the combat is like a bump in the Spacing Guild, you could just go Assembly Hall and get that anyways. And what are you going to do if you pull your swords? You're going to go in here? The guy's got 3 intrigues. He's got an action. He's going to pull a 4th intrigue from his bonus. It's so hard to win this. And there's a load of places you can go put the troops in. But she does go for it. Well, she finds Shishakli for 4 swords total. So I guess Margot's committing herself to this fight. Which is pretty brave. Gurney just has to... He's got 4 persuasion. He's going to take Unswerving. Obviously, does pair with some of the Fremen. Thumper turns up as well, which is not a bad little card. I quite like Thumper. Not the worst reveal either, actually, by the way. But Muad'Dib is going to have to put in more troops. Maybe he's identified the fact that Muad'Dib doesn't actually have any more access to the field. It's the only thing I can think is he's realised that I don't think Muad'Dib can actually deploy any more troops. But Muad'Dib's always going to secrets, pretty much all the time. He's going to pull 2 random intrigues. You've no idea what they've got here. So, you know... Well, that puts an end to that. This one's over. Absolute gin intrigue for Muad'Dib. Gets to trash a dagger while he's at it as well. So, if that was Margot's plan, it has backfired. Shaddam, I guess, is going hard on a contract, and does. Keeping that as an option later on. From Alliance is going to be pretty safe for Margot. She can focus elsewhere. She's going to have to. She's got no bumps anywhere else currently. But Muad'Dib knows he's good. Once he pulls that intrigue, he's fine. There's a lot of intrigues that are good for him. So, and I feel like there was just a little bit of an overreach. Maybe trying to get a bit too greedy, trying to do a little bit of everything. But I think this is going to have to take Arachne's Revolt and live with it. It's not a bad card for her by any stretch, but I just feel like Steersman just felt better to me. Especially because Gurney could have taken the Arachne's Revolt a lot of the time, and then what do you do? Anyways. So Muad'Dib gets the extra intrigue. He's first at next round, by the way. He paused apart from Arachne's, which is really good for him. So he's in good shape here. Shaddam with 3. Probably just takes Spy Network. Better than nothing. Gets to put a spy down somewhere. It's not a bad reveal. Might just put it on spacing. Yeah, he's got Highline on contract. Gives him insurance for the Alliance in case that ever happens as well. I feel like that can't be bad. Could also go Bene Gesserit Spy. I also don't hate that. With the intention of hitting Espionage and then putting the spy up there later on. That actually might be better. That might actually be better here. I think both are okay. Anyway, so Muad'Dib's going to win this. So he's going to get 2 bumps. He's going to get 2 troops. He gets 2 contracts as well. Margot will have to live with the water, 2 Solari and 2 troops back. So paid a bit of a price here. Tried to charge Muad'Dib. Has charged Muad'Dib a fair amount. I mean, just trash a dagger here, right? You would imagine. Yeah. Seems good to me. So, yeah, huge results from Muad'Dib, the way this has kind of gone down at the moment. Very, very useful. So, gets his point. Couple of troops. 2 contracts. He gets to see what the next one is as well. So, Refinery, I imagine he takes all the time here. And deliver supplies, he might as well take, yeah. Obviously gets the 2 troops as well. So, huge result here for Muad'Dib. This has gone down. Has probably gone favourite here. Interesting enough, Joe Brothers actually turned up here for Shaddam, by the way. Remember, he did pick up the contract Imperium card as well, so fascinating. Spice Raiders is up next. It's going to be of interest to the likes of Margot. But I don't think she's getting Haga Basin anytime soon. Muad'Dib has not drawn great. He's drawn Present Object again on its own. But he's got to be a little bit careful of his intrigues. He has a risk of secret stealing. He's got the Fopter matching intrigue, but he's got the other 2 symbols, so not ideal. Showlines he can't get rid of, and special mission he wants to use to bro the wall later on. He doesn't really want to use it now. Department Rack is also kind of weird, where he could use it at Haga Basin, but then he's never going to be able to cash in for the points here. But, you know, just winning 2 random bumps and matching a sword here, it's still pretty good. So I imagine Muad'Dib just worms with his ring. Just got to decide if he's going to use Depart for not, basically. I think you have to use something. I think Secrets is just wide open, and you'd be really terrified of something. Oh, as it turns out, no one has faction access, but he doesn't know that. Might gamble. I don't know. Who's convincing? Muad'Dib's going to take a risk here. He is not afraid of losing his intrigues. Interesting. He's going to commit himself to try and get the free space. So, Shaddam taking more contracts. Now he's got to go contracts it now. He's looking Deep Desert Highliner. I think he's looking Deep Desert Highliner this round, by the way, as well. I think he's going to go for this. Sorry. Margot Shashakli. Just going to use it now. No need to reveal it for bumps anymore here. I think... Yeah, I think Gurney... I think Shaddam is legitimately looking Deep Desert Highline here. I think it might be coming. And he'll pull his spy as well to try and find his way to Junction. Spy Safari for Margot. Obviously trying to pick up her Swordmaster. Gurney will have to take it per head of time, though. So what's Muad'Dib going to do here? Does he just go secrets himself? No way for him to really generate any cash here is the problem. Or is he going to double draw Arakeen and try and pull the Spiceless Flow? Looks like that's what he's going to do instead. He might be infiltrating Spice Refinery, thinking he gets the water back, though. He gets a water back, and it also gives him cash for Price is No Object. But it only get him up to 5. It's a bit awkward. Double draw Arakeen looks like what he's going to go for. Try and pull Spiceless Flow. That does not help. He has no Fremen card in his hand. He hasn't drawn any. So Southern Elders is not worth anything. It's a complete whiff of a draw from Muad'Dib, actually. Not what he was looking for. Shaddam has to decide, basically, what he's going to do here. Deep Desert Highline is definitely on. But again, it's scary with Muad'Dib's intrigues. So he's going to stay out of this. Feels that time is not right. He's going to hold on for a tier 3 fight and look to blast him with Highliner by the looks of it. And try and win a tier 3. So it looks like Muad'Dib's going to win this as well. All going his way currently. No one's really bothering to challenge him much in combat. But Muad'Dib just has to find his way to 9 persuasion, and I don't see how he's ever going to do that. I don't think he can get to 9. Unless he goes to Assembly Hall and gets lucky with like a card draw intrigue. They are out there. Intelligence report. The pay a spice for a draw and a trash one, whatever it's called. Could even like manipulate, maybe even like manipulates. Or how about Muad'Dib goes Assembly Hall and looks to take Steersman himself? Because the Spacing Alliance is one that he can look to harass. It improves Depart for Arrakis, means he gets a card draw from it later on as well. Maybe that's a better move for Muad'Dib, given his hand draw. There's not a lot else he can really do here. Unless you maybe go Friend Kit, but it doesn't feel too good. Assembly Hall might be stronger here. Like, doesn't look like anyone's going to bother challenging the combat. You don't really need the dagger. You know? You think you probably get to Steersman, although you're concerned about Margot. Margot has done a bit of drawing. Margot might have 8. She doesn't. She's only got 7 after the espionage hit. She's missed. So, see what happens here. Seats for Gurney. I can't see Gurney getting in any more involved here. He'll look to take second place and get Deep Desert access for next round. Remember, the wall is still up, though. We've had 2 of the 3 wall combats out, though, so the odds of it being Arakeen are not likely. But, like, what, 1 out of... I forget how many tier 2... I think there's 9 tier 2 conflicts, and 3 of those are walled, so... That would make it, what, 1 out of 5 it's Arakeen? By my rough maths. I could be wrong there. I think there's 3 skirmishes, 9 tier 2s, and then your 4 tier 3s. If my memory serves me correctly. So that's the options Muad'Dib's got. I think Fremkit is okay, but doesn't feel great. I think Assembly Hall would be nice. Looking to pick up Steersman. Or try to go for it. And sometimes you find an intrigue that gets you the spice plus flow, which is obviously what you're after anyways. I think Shaddam is going after High Council, by the way. He's after Interstellar Trade. I think that's what Shaddam's going to do here. Obviously, it gives him more contracts to fulfill. He's got show and profits, and he's got his contract card in hand. So it looks like that's going to be the strategy here. I think he was going to go for Junction. He would have already got it by now. So it looks like he's just going to go down that route. So, you know, it's a choice of Muad'Dib. Like, Assembly Hall can't be bad. You just drew pretty hideously out of Arakeens. It's kind of a bit of damage control. What else have you got here that's of any particular use? Secrets doesn't feel great because at least you have 5 persuasion. It's not a great row for 5. Dutiful. I mean, neither of the contracts really doing anything for you here. That's about it, really. I don't think he's ever going to gather support. Feels a bit slow. And he's not going to spend any spice. So it kind of leaves either Assembly Hall or Secrets. Or maybe, like, Fremkit. But I think he'd rather just reveal the Elders for the water at this point. I don't think he's ever going to play it. Unless he does go for it. He does go for Fremkit. Gets him to 8. So he's going to go for Steersman regardless. And I guess he figures, well, if he can find one more bump, it still helps the Shadow Alliance. So, you know, that's why I mentioned it. High Council comes. Obviously after trade instead. Margot, however, has got 7. And I assume is going to take Interstellar Trade instead. And that's going to really hurt Shaddam here. Yeah, that's a bit unlucky, but that's the risk he took. So that goes. That was what he was clearly after. So, guess he's going to have to go Junction now. Gurney's going to put his worm in here. Is Gurney Hallett going to go for this? Gurney Hallett might go for this, by the way. He's got B spoils. He's got +3 daggers. He might take a chance and hope that Muad'Dib he's caught him off foot here. I think it's fine to go for. If you win, great. It's a huge problem to Muad'Dib if you don't, and you can still get at least one pair out of the points, so it's worth going for. 1 dagger revealed is good news for Gurney, so he's just riding on intrigues here. There's Steersman. Does get the intrigue out of the conflict. Is it red? No, it's not. It's Cancer's ambition. So Gurney Halleck's going to pinch this one. And Muad'Dib is now back open to secret stealing as well. And I don't think he's going to get a second pass here. I think someone's going to hit secrets surely and look to make a steal here, you'd imagine. I think it'd be kind of criminal not to. He's a bit launched. There wasn't much faction access out there. People had other stuff to do here. So Shaddam does go for it. Insta takes Sardaukar Soldier. Didn't even think about it. And Gurney will take it down. He gets 3 persuasion. Might go Covert Operation. Might go Benny Operative Spy. Lots of Benny stuff out there. Both Truth Trances are out there now. Tread and Darkness, I do think is a bit awkward. He's got no real spies down. I think Benny Operative is probably better. It does go for it. So Gurney takes it down. I don't know where he's going to bump. He might just charge for the Emperor Alliance here. I wouldn't hate that. Muad'Dib will have to live with resources. Margot gets a spice and a troop back. So where is he sending the bumps? If he decided to just charge the Emperor, I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think he will. I think he's going to space them out. Yeah, spacing in that feels reasonable. Just going to try and guarantee the friendship points, but he takes a lead here. as we go on ahead on to round 6. Last tier 2 coming. And it isn't walled. Shadow Contest is up here. Fopta symbol, first one of the game. Wadi wouldn't mind it, of course. But it's those Bene Gesserit bumps look very tasty. Margot, of course, does not need to go Haga Basin to put in worms. She doesn't want to. Araka's Revolt is coming. And she's got her ring, so she can guarantee it. You think Margot might go heavy here as well. You think she might go pretty heavy. Might go like Siege Research Station with Araka's Revolt, for example. But the problem is it's not a match for her. It's just a little bit tricky. Anyways, back to Emperor Shaddam here, who is in a spot above her. He desperately needs to try and get these contracts done. No spies. He does have one spy, but, you know, he doesn't have to do that. So just goes to Arakeen, just going to draw here. Try and trash some stuff out here. There goes the Sardaukar Soldier. That's why he trashed it, because he knew the Calculus was coming. Gets Call to Arms. Won't be the happiest to see that. Not the best intrigue. Just going to get the free troops in here and try and make a bit of a stand here. I think Fumbles feels he's behind and the game's kind of going against him here. He feels like he's going to get stuck in here. And the idea being that next round he's going to look to highline. I think that's the way this probably is going to go down. I suspect we'll see Deep Desert's highline as the next 2 moves here. Well, Deep Desert preparing for highline is what I mean. He's not highline this round. So, does Margot go Siege for research? Needs to get her Swordmaster, actually. Looks like she's just going to go Arakeen, I would guess. Unless she thinks she's still going to get the water for Siege. She's pretty brave. Bit surprised she didn't just go Siege that way round, but I guess Margot's going to stay out of this. And doesn't think she can win it. Though I think it's kind of a one that she definitely liked to. With the spy there as well. But we'll see. Gurney's got leadership. Thumper. He's got a natural unswerving loyalty as well, which is really nice. Means he can commit very heavily here. You think Gurney a lot of the time would just hit Haga Basin with leadership here. Wow. What kind of move was that? That's a curious one. He's doubling up on Arakeen contract is what he's doing. He's still got to get there though. Interesting, with leadership in hand as well. Maybe he thinks he's just gonna reveal it? I'm not entirely sure what's gonna go on here. He's only got 3 cards of any kind of access. Well, Muad'Dib's just going to go Haga Base and say, okay. I'm really surprised they've let him get there. And I suspect we might see Depart from Arrakis here as well. Yep, there it is. And he's going to just put it in here. Oh, I need Paul Steersman. Feels good, doesn't it? Doesn't need to put troops in now. He knows he's got agent recalls. He might put in 1, I suspect. He'll leave the other 2 out. Muad'Dib's going to be feeling pretty good about life right now. So, it's Refinery for Shaddam as he goes after the contract here. He's going to take one of his own. But doesn't he want the spice to go Highliner? I might even consider just taking the High Council contract or something. Like, you can always go back to High Council. It'd be like 2 Solari for tons of battle resources. Anyways, Margot, here goes Arakeen. She will be putting a worm in. The question is, does she blow the wall? Doesn't have to. It's optional. But given she's first to act, she might feel she's going to blow the wall. It might do it now. So it's optional. Yep, chooses not to. Bit of confusion here. They are meant to own. They are meant to be in a. Well, they're in a VC, except they're all muted. So you know that's good. Dear. But yeah, the blow symbol taking out the wall is optional. It's not mandatory. And declines to do so, which, you know, I think you could go both ways on it. Obviously has other intentions next round. It's optional. It's optional. Doesn't have to do it. The text specifically says you may remove the wall token. It's not mandatory. So, Gurney does have privilege access. He doesn't have any intrigues to spin, however. It does pull a normal Walk Master, though, which, you know, is nice for the extra synergy, I guess. Green's having a look through the book, but it's like at the very back. But it is optional. This has come up many times. So, back to Muad'Dib here, who... I don't quite know what he's going to do. Doesn't have any Bene Gesserit down. He's not been able to get really any synergy between Price and Elders. Elders has just been basically revealing for a war. That's about it. But I can definitely see Muad'Dib going like espionage or secrets here and then trying to obviously win the conflict and just take the alliance outright. And I think he might opt to do so here. He figures if he goes espionage with Southern Elders, that might be... Well, the thing is, he needs Price to power Southern Elders. The other way around doesn't do anything, so... I'd probably just Diplo her. I don't know. Not entirely sure what he wants to do. But I think hitting the Bene Gesserit can't be bad here. Either with secrets or espionage. Does go secrets. Pause contingency, which is usable. He's going to assume that Margot's not going secrets. That she has to put in more troops to fight. Here comes the Deep Desert take. As noted. So finally, Shaddam gets a contract done. And Margot just going to go Desert Tactics and just take some resources and call it a day. So Gunny's got a couple actions, but very limited access. In fact, basically no access. Doesn't have shipping access either. I guess Gurney doesn't really want to use Northern Walkmaster, I don't think. But if he uses it at Siege, like, he will be guaranteed worms. He'd have access to Deep Desert next round. So he probably has to. Not really much of a choice. Does he pull his spy and draw? He does opt to do so. If his knowing his Exile's Diplo, that might well have convinced him to do that. Gurney might just go, like, deliver supplies, and might go espionage, actually. But espionage he has to draw, and he doesn't want to do that, so... Maybe he just goes deliver supplies and just takes the point and calls it a day. I don't hate that. Man is swimming in water. So Muad'Dib needs to use steersman now. He's got to decide. He might go deliver supplies himself. In fact, here's an interesting point, actually. Muad'Dib could go deliver supplies in High Council to get ambition ready. And then use that to maybe even ambush Deep Desert next round if Gurney doesn't immediately go there. Deliver supplies gives him the free Solari for it. And the Alliance gives him free Solari as well. So loads of cash. I think he might do it. He's got Shadow Alliance, so he can definitely make a spin here. So that's what we see. You'd have to pull back an agent, however. Either Secrets or Hager Basin. I mean, Hager Basin, I guess you're okay with giving up. At this point. I don't think you'd want to be giving that to Gurney Halleck. Giving Secrets to Gurney Halleck, really. Not when he's doesn't want to draw. Does find Price as no object. Well, High Council was an option, but might just play Price now and just take a Spiceless Flow in hand. Shaddam, meanwhile, is still trying to win this fight. Or at least charge the maximum to Muad'Dib here. I'll go with 4. Might just take a Truth Trance for faction access and does. Faction outside of the Fremen has been very poor. Gunny just goes dutiful here. Takes him more contracts in hand here. Kind of wild how many he's got. Gearing up for some potential research station. And looking to just end it all in the next round. Research station would give him potential spy access to the Arrakeen as well. So he might just commit himself to cities. Depends what he draws. I think Muad'Dib was hoping to get the dutiful, truthfully, with Price, but he can't. I think espionage can't be bad. I think espionage, you know, like, just completely cements the alliance. No! He's going to play Southern Elders. So, Muad'Dib is going for this, is going to go Highliner Alliance. He's going spacing. He thinks that what he's going to do here is he's going to use blue as his Shadow Alliance target. He's going to get the Bene Gesserit Alliance from this fight, and he's going to go after the Spacing Guild here. Well, okay then. Gurney takes Truth Trance. Muad'Dib with 6. Finds a second contingency plan. He's going to get 2 more intrigues off this conflict as well. So he's going to sit there with 7 intrigues. This also matches his Fopter. He's going to use the contingencies. He's going to use a contingency now. It doesn't feel like he needs 2. I mean, I probably would have just kept it in hand, truthfully. But that's just me. So he's going to take this down. Shaddam can do nothing. It's not going well for Fumbles, this. It's looking pretty hazardous. So 3 more intrigues. 1 for the Alliance as well. Inspire Awe he takes. Impress he finds. And he gets another one. Oh, dearie me. You gotta be kidding me. Has he just found that? Well, he's hoping it's a world conflict now. That is pretty disgusting. Wild stuff. Secure spice trade for green here, but he's not got any spiceless flows here. It's green falling behind in this one. And it is conflict. It's spice refinery. It's a defense for Gurney, so he gets a bonus troop. Well, Margot's pulled Highliner access, and I think she's just going to commit herself to this. It's not a good conflict for her, though. She doesn't have any money. Doesn't have any matching with this. But I think she might feel she's just got to do it. Not much to be done here. It's just going to close her eyes and do it. I mean, it doesn't feel the best, admittedly, but I think you just gotta, you gotta swing in here. Yes, Muad'Dib has more intrigues in hand than he does cards. It's kind of weird. Gurney Halleck has not drawn amazing here. So the question is, what does he do? He can't put any worms in. It's the wall blocks it. So I think you just like Truth Trance Espionage? Put a spy on like Research Station and hope you pull another city access you don't have to use Beast Spoils? I mean, Gurney wants to end this game right now. If he can get, like, a couple of friendships, that would do the job. He's also maybe considering maybe some world he goes deliver supplies to try to get to shipping. But I think he's just going to... He's got to go research station now, and he does. But it doesn't feel great. It's a blank on the agent box. Does nothing. So, research station it is. Pauses Diplo. He's got 10 persuasion because of the troops he's going to put in here. So I think Gurney Halleck has to, like, put in... Hope he gets the espionage and then go deliver supply or, like, the Emperor Alliance afterwards. At least score, like, 3 points. I don't think he can end the game, though. I don't see any way he's going to manage it. Shaddam's got Junction Headquarters in hand, but the problem is his alliance is in real... Oh, I learned from Wardib, I just noticed here. Wardib does have access to the Spacing Alliance. The problem is it's only his steersman. So if he wants to steal it, he'd have to use steersman immediately. Which means he gets no agent recall. Wow. Do you give up the agent recall just to hit deliver supplies and get in front of Shaddam's alliance here? The problem is Shaddam can just go shipping. He can just go shipping in Highline. A lot of the time. So I don't think he can do it. Just going to double draw Arakeen. Pause price. So Spiceless Flow's coming. Sorry. So Shaddam, I guess, is just going to use Junction Headquarters now, right? It's an intrigue and 2 spice for the point. Been a long time since I've seen Junction Headquarters actually, like, come in for a and actually be useful and used. Decides not to get rid of secure spice trade, so Shaddam's playing for 8 rounds. I guess you have to play from 8 rounds when you're in the position you're at. Taking his other contract here. So, looks like he's going to try to hope to muster enough spice to get to both Sardaukar and Highliner here. But I think it's going to be really difficult to achieve. Really hard to achieve here. Margot will just put in a worm with Interstellar. I assume it's just going to bump... I don't know, might bump Fremen for safety. Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable, but I guess figures Red's busy fighting away. She gets the Harvest contract because it was free for the space, but remember she gets +2 for the Benny space here, which gets her to 5. Harvest contracts work that as long as you do a Harvest action... and you gain the amount of spice over the course of the turn, you're good. So Gurney hits Dutiful. I assume he's going to go ahead and probably just put a spy on Council for Privilege. I'm guessing that's what he's going to do here. He feels he's got to get Spice Must Flow here. 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. He didn't put any troops in the conflict, so he's not getting the +1. How did he not put the troops in the conflict? That's a bit of a surprise. You're going after Spiceless Flows here. Surely you're putting like 2 or 3 total just to guarantee that persuasion. I think that's a bit of a miss there. I assume he's going Privilege. No, he's going to go shipping. Again, he still can't get to 10 though here. It doesn't seem on. It looks like he's going to go shipping here. I mean, Wardib just... It's really weird, isn't it, this spot? Does Muad'Dib go shipping himself? Remember, he's got unexpected allies, and he's got a lot of swords potentially, so he doesn't have to really get involved right now. Does he go shipping himself with, and just... I feel like you've got to take this alliance. Shaddam made the point of cashing in the point, but didn't bother to defend it. at the same time. So I feel like you've just got to either hit deliver supplies or hit shipping yourself. No, not yet. Just going to take the sure point. Assuming Shaddam's going Sarduka, I don't know. Anyways, so takes the Spiceless Flow. That goes in hand. Courtesy of the 9 Solari there. You can take any card you want. It must be a hand limit. You've got too many intrigues. You've got too many cards in your hand. I guess it's a... Yeah, I've never seen that. Yeah, put the intrigues. Flip the intrigues and just put them down here, I guess, for the moment. I've never seen that, yeah. That is absolutely nuts. Now, the card should stay down. It's fine. This is fine. Nothing should be public. He's got his intrigue party. He knows what they are. You look. This is correct. Yeah, I've never seen that. So there you go. There's a limit of the amount of cards you have. And it just runs out of space. Anyway, so Shaddam does Sardaukar. So he takes both his contracts here. How he's going to get the Highline contract, I have no idea. Maybe he's going to try and pull a different contract back at a separate contract. I don't know. Spice Refinery for Margot. Just doing whatever she can here, basically. Keeping Shishakli in hand. Margot feels she just has to win this. Now she's got enough cash for at least one hit for the hit of Imperial Basin. Gurney opts to go High Council instead of Privilege. He had enough money? I thought he only had 4. Did I misread that? I guess I must have done. Oh, because the Spice Refinery hit allowed Gurney to do High Council. Right, he couldn't do that before. The free money from Council comes after you visit the spot, so he couldn't do that until Margot went Refinery. I don't know if he planned for that or not. Maybe he thought it was likely Margot will go there. Well... it's point to point, I guess. So Muad'Dib. Yeah, Muad'Dib's got 8 intrigues. This is pretty nuts. He's just going to go shipping and lock this up, surely. He'll try to lock it up. He's going to get in front. So if Shaddam wants to protect it, he now can't. Shaddam has sacrificed the alliance. And remember, Muad'Dib has got a game on a point on end games here as well at the moment. 2 points from end games. Because no one's taking any of his intrigues. So, Privilege. Pulls his contract card out. The problem is, now what's he going to do? Does not find any faction access. I assume he's just going to give up with the... I don't know. What does he do? The Spacing Alliance. Does he fight back for it? I don't think he's going to. Trashes out contingency for another one. Pulls a leverage, which isn't really what he was looking for. I feel like Fumbles is just kind of trying to scramble his way out of trouble here, but it feels like a really deep hole. He's just going to take the sure point. So, Muad'Dib effectively sitting with 3 alliances this game. The 2 he's got and the 1 he's shadowing. And he's got the Ornithop to match here. So Muad'Dib is looking pretty healthy here. Margot's gone heavy in a fight that no one else has bothered getting involved in, which is always funny to see. Going with Spice must flow. Gets in at 8, but he can't finish it. Muad'Dib's still got an action. Shaddam's still got 2. He's got faction access. Can't get to Dutiful. Does Muad'Dib ever go deliver supplies just to cement the alliance and not have to worry about it? I can't say that I hate the move. Here it comes. Here come the worms. You should be able to go back in now.
Now, atomics.
Now, I don't see any way for Muad'Dib to win here. I don't see any way for him to end the game is the problem. We're gonna go another round. So Inspire Ore lets him put a card of Free Persuasion More into his hand. Now, because he's got the worm in. It's any card on show here. So Covert, Calculus. Calculus you could turn into swords to trash prize and object if you really wanted to. You can also take Prepares if he wants. He's got 5 Persuasion at the moment. I mean, I'd probably be taking Calculus here, I imagine. You take Prepare away for more drawing. Double draw Arakeen, maybe. You've only got one more action. He's trying desperately to try and find a way to... He's trying to work out how to get into... He also wants to protect his hand as well. That's the other thing that's going on with Muad'Dib. Remember, of course, the problem is he wanted high councils for Council's ambition here. Yeah, it's a unit. Yeah, he's thinking of distraction here. 3 units over the course of a turn. Worms do count. So he's thinking of, obviously, he's trying to get his hand strength down, basically. He's trying to get his intrigues down to 3. Because he's got to protect Shadow. Shadow is a point, Ornithopter is a point. He's just trying to get District down. He can't use Council's ambition, so he'd have to use everything else. The worm does help with distraction. So he's put in 1 unit over the course of this round, or turn, or whatever word it is. So it's obviously a bit messy and a bit, yeah, it's a bit complicated this round. Is Muad'Dib going Desert Tactics? Muad'Dib might go Desert Tactics or something, but he doesn't need to. He's got Shadow Alliance. I don't know. I don't really know what he's going to do here. Now, he does, with Inspire Ore, if he plays it, he has to take a card. He can't play it and not do anything. Goes for Covert in the end. So, it has to go in his hand. There's no option about it. That gets him down to 6. He's got no spies down, so Covert's not helping him immediately. I assume he's just going to go Arakeen to... My guess is he's going to go Arakeen here. To get the 2 troops in so he can send Distraction. And I guess he's just going to send it to the Emperor. Or you can go Siege, whichever one he prefers. So this allows Distraction to kick off here. He can put a spy anywhere he wants, even infiltrating. But that's what he's trying to do. He's just trying to get his hand strength down. He needs to use Distraction. He needs to use Contingency. He needs to use Impress. So, spy wherever he wants. And that's what Covert's going to do here. Which isn't going to be ideal for... Which isn't going to be ideal for Shaddam. He's going to lose a card out of his hand. But yeah, it's complicated around this. But this is totally fine. Anyway you want with Distraction. Yeah, Distraction is just a spy anywhere you fancy. So yeah, complicated around this. Sorry it's taken a while, but you know, when you've got like 8 intrigues, this sort of stuff happens. I've been there. Shaddam goes Arakeen. Just so he has a card so he can still discard for covert operation, which will be, assumably, the dagger. He's got to try and fight for the spice in order to get hold of Highliner next round. He has to get Highliner next round. He has to get Spice's Flow now. And it's basically that's where it is. That's basically where he's at here. He can actually, interestingly, I think the Spice from Delivers actually works for leverage as well, because he gains Spice that turn. So he can actually use that to get another intrigue if he wants. Maybe like Refinery intrigue. Don't know. So here come the Spies. Yeah, sorry, he wasn't playing Cooperation. He was out of agents. Sorry, that round was so complicated. And I assume Contingency and Impress are both going to be used here, just to get them out. Because Gurney Halleck will hit secrets if he can. I think it's important for Muad'Dib just to use both cards here. I'm surprised he didn't use Contingency for the money if he respins Price No Object. I think he should have done that. Use Contingency for the cash and then use Impress in the combat. I think that would have been better. But again, because the round's been so complicated, maybe he's just missed it. Unless he's just going to throw both into the combat, I guess, which he might do. Making sure he gets second place. But the problem is, if he gets second place, he's back up to 4 intrigues again. So maybe he's not going to bother. He's going to leave those as kind of like fodder protection in case there is a steal. So Shaddam has kind of a free move. Assembly Hall seems fine. I don't know if he really wants to draw. Been a very long round, this. No, just going to Garrison. Blue is... I don't know what Blue's doing. I think he's drawn from his trash pile. Anyways. So there's a sword. There's a spice. Spice was flow 1. He can play leverage if he wants, but he might keep it for privilege fodder. But I think he should actually play it and get Spice Refinery. I think that would make sense. Yes, you can do it. You know, it's the early days. People are still kind of pick up a little bit here. He should get Spice Refinery. Just give some options here. Unfortunately, that's the intrigue he would... That's the contract he would have wanted. Anyway, so after all of that, we're finally on to round 7 conflict. I guess Muad'Dib's just gonna hope that Gurney doesn't go secrets and doesn't steal Fopter or Shadow Alliance. Margot picks up a couple of points. 3 spice apiece for Shaddam and Muad'Dib. Muad'Dib gets the intrigue. Oh, Muad'Dib didn't pay his... I was about to say, he didn't get his intrigue for the worm. I just noticed that. So, change allegiances and desert... Are you kidding me? What? Wow. Wow. That's pretty insane. The problem is, though, he can't protect his hand now. He's at risk of stealing. And it's propaganda is the next conflict here, which is not the best of news for Muad'Dib, actually. Oh dear, Shaddam's drawn hideously. Shaddam has drawn horrid. Gurney's up first, and surely he's just going to hit Bene Gesserit. Does he fancy stealing from Muad'Dib? He looks at him and feels he might be his biggest competitor. He might go secret stealing. But his hand is still not amazing. He can still put the Spy Arakeen, though, because of Benny Operative. He doesn't have to espionage. Muad'Dib's bound to have some good stuff. Like, he's had so many intrigues. There's going to be some powerful intrigues around there. But no. Secret stealing is just not popular. It just amazes me how few people like secret stealing. I just feel like, I don't know how you're going to win this without stealing some of Muad'Dib's secrets. He just feels like he's got so much potential stuff to do here. Weird old game. So, Muad'Dib has got a pretty dire hand. So he's going to go secret to protect himself. Surely he changed allegiances and now steals like Margot's alliance. It just costs her the point. I know Shadow Alliance you've got. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. Or do you just shift it for the Emperor Alliance and just assume no one's going to steal your intrigues at this point? I guess so. It's going to be obvious, though, if he doesn't take the Alliance. No, he's just going to protect the Emperor here. Protect spacing. And Margot knows his alliance could have been stolen there and wasn't. So Margot has to now assume that Muad'Dib's got Shadow Alliance. I would be sitting there thinking, well, he must have Shadow. I don't think it makes any sense. The man is... What? Oh my goodness me. Muad'Dib is sitting there with every single symbol endgame card. The man is sitting on 4 endgame points. What in the... What in the hell? I mean, Muad'Dib just wins now, right? If he can just find... I mean, he's at guaranteed 11 points, because no one's stealing at this point. So he's just got to try and find a 12th point somehow, I guess. I don't actually know how he's going to go to shipping, is his plan, to get the Emperor Alliance. He gets to 12, and surely it's just over. Spice refinery for Shaddam, so we can finally get the contracts fulfilled, and he does. He does pull Deliver as well, so he's going to get that point at least. The problem is he's got to get Spice Must Flow. He's at 2, 4, 6. He's stuck at 8. I think Shaddam might just go, like, Assembly Hall and just reveal and take the 3 points. He might not feel he's got much of a choice other than that. But Muad'Dib is just an absolutely absurd game over there. Completely ridiculous. Sorry. Margot's got to decide how she wants to proceed here, by the way. She's got guaranteed points with Interstellar Trade. She doesn't have shipping access. I don't think she can get both the Emperor and Spacing Point by the looks of it. She's got Arrakis Revolt to get a worm in later. She's got no Highliner access, though. I think Margot was hoping she'd pull access for Highliner. Might be worth trying to draw it somehow. I don't think she's ever using Shishakli here. I think that's just getting revealed to protect the Alliance and take the swords. But I don't know. Might gamble here. Figure that Muad'Dib's just never winning this fight. He could have taken the Alliance, then he would have done. If he had, like, buy access and Siege Ritual, he would have already taken it as well. Like, I think you can assume the Alliance is pretty safe, and if anything, he's going to go after his Emperor point. Which Muad'Dib is going to get. Muad'Dib cannot be stopped from there now. This is the thing, like, when you're sitting around with, like, 6, 7, 8 intrigues, and people don't steal them from you, you just have so many powerful options ahead of you. Like, it snowballs. You know, and that's what we've seen here, basically. Like, he's sitting there on a lot of good intrigues, and a lot of the intrigues in Uprising are pretty decent. No one's bothered to take any of them away from him, and he's just running away with this. That's the way it goes sometimes. It's a bit like this. It reminds me a little bit of the old Ilbard Mentat stuff. Anyways. So Margot's got to decide if they're going to use Shishakli or not. They might go Arakeen and just double draw and just think that Alliance probably is okay. They're desperately looking for Highline access. They want to go like Highline shipping or something, but I don't think they're ever going to actually make that happen. But Arakeen, they'll trash Shishakli and double draw here. Convincing isn't what they were looking for, I don't think. But I've prepared the way which is better. But still no faction access. Got any privileges? So espionage is now open. Muad'Dib's just got to go shipping and just call it a day, right? And just think, I just finished at 12 points. Like, how do I lose here? Just picks up as much spice as humanly possible. He could still put a worm in a Hager Basin. Although I think I'd rather take the spice, truthfully. I don't actually think you're ever going to get third place here. But he's got Impress and Contingency. His worm's going to be worth like 8 strength, and he gets another intrigue out of it. Shadam espionages because he might as well. And I think he might as well. Pulls... I don't know what he pulled there. Was this Doom card? So he's at 9 persuasion exactly. He's got a spider put down. He'll just put it on Assembly Hall. I think he's just going to send his dagger to Assembly Hall and call it a day. It's the best he can do here. Yep. Score is 3 points. Finish at 9 and hope he's not last. Margot's in a spot of bother here, truthfully. Margot is in a spot of bother here. I actually would have minded Shadam maybe even putting the spy on like Imperial Basin and trying to draw off of Dune. But I guess you're never going to win the fight, are you? So I guess it probably doesn't matter. He might actually not even use the spy. He might pull it with Spy Network to make another intrigue. I don't know what intrigues he can really find that's going to help him at this point. Siege Ritual would be the point with the Bene Gesserit, I guess. But outside of that, there's not really a lot else he can really do. Stockpiling's not going to help him. He's got Secure and Chosen Prophets. Shadow Alliance would get him his point back with the Spacing Guild, but Muad'Dib's kind of playing like he's got it. Margot has to guarantee Spice of Slow over the course of this round. Her only other spy is at the Bene Gesserit she can't get to, so very limited options for Margot. Very limited options for Margot. She's only at 8. She's only at 9 persuasion with the card she's got down. So she can't even. There's not a lot she can do here. Margot looks like she's fairly destined for 4th place. I do think back to that early move at Arakeen where she went for the double draw. I just think back to ever since then, like, it would just feel like it's been awkward since. She's going to have to go like Assembly Hall or accept contract here, you'd think, to try and keep the Spice of Slow in hand. She has to do this for the spacing point. Desert Survival is found, which is Spice Must Flow. It's an extra sword as well, so she's going to finish probably on 9. Which doesn't feel like a great haul. But yeah, I just think ever since then, if she just made the other move and just made certain of Steersman, I think it could have been maybe a bit of a different story, but Muad'Dib has just been allowed to just do anything he wants here. I mean, it sucks for Margot. Margot feels they take the spacing bump. They're probably still 4th anyways. But how is this game going another round? Don't really see what else you can do here. You just got to take the spacing point and call it a day. You know, it's not happened. And take what point you can. Hope that you beat Shadam. Shadam's got a bit of catching up to do. You've got a load of resources. Maybe you beat him on Spice Tiebreaker. I don't really see what else you can do here. I don't really know what the delay is. Take the spacing bump, put the troop in, and then next round just reveal and take Spice of Slow. And, call it a day. I don't see what else you can do here. I just don't see the point of putting the bump here. Like, I don't see... It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, right. The acquire contract. Okay, I apologize. My bad. I forgot that was... Okay, well, in this case, it's fine. Yeah, take the acquire contract, protect the Fremen Alliance, and then reveal and get the point that way. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't even think about the fact of, yeah, she went to get a contract to get the contract. That's fine. Yeah, you gotta protect this. You're never getting the Emperor point. Yeah. It's been a complicated match, this last round or so it's kind of not helping. Uprising can be a much more complicated game towards the back end than XMO. So Gurney, what's Gurney going to do here? Gurney's on 7 persuasion. I don't see a lot of what he can do. I assume he's just going to Arakeen. Is he going to go Arakeen with Watermaster and then use that with the contract to hit Deep Deserts? I assume that's what he's going to do. With his ring, and he's got Unswerving, so it'd be what? City would be 6. 8, 10, 12, 18, 20. You'd be looking at about 20 strength total. 22. I think you can still take this combat down. Problem is, it's not worth a ton. You've got no matching symbols for propaganda. And you've only got 1 point you can really ever get here, and that is at the Spacing Guild. To be honest, this is a bad combat for Gurney. He would much preferred it to be just a legit 2 points. Maybe like the spy pulling one or something like that. Which is why I think he's just going to go Reset Station instead. And try and pull Spicer's Flow. Still going to be on Wadeep's heels. Who has 1 action. Yep, might as well. I do legit think he should take the Spice, though, the Worm. He pulls Steersman. Well, him pulling Steersman means that, you know, if you know the next card's going to be Steersman, which obviously he doesn't, then you take the Worm, because you get the 2 Spice anyways. Yep, Assembly Hall. I don't think he should take the Spy. He should leave that down so he can pull later on, and he does. Picks up Spice's Power, which is Swords. I don't know if that's going to help him win the fight. It'd be 2 points if he could. But surely going Halleck's just going to blast at Research Station here. It's not going to matter. Margot, I just has to reveal. I don't see anything else you can do here. I know you want to use Revolt here. Or get a troop in. Like, I don't know why you didn't put the troop on of Arakeen. Must have just missed it. But it's too late now. So you just reveal, take your 2 points, and hope you're not last. Hope Shaddam doesn't get there. Came second in the first match, so he's looking 2 points at most here. So not a great return after 2. Be hoping they finish third here. It's the best they can ever do. And they know it's the best they can ever do. Here comes Research Station, of course. So, can only pull 1 spy for one of them. You cannot pull both of them for Gathering Intelligence. You cannot use 2 for the same reason. Oh, I thought he missed Spicer's Flow for a second there. No, he hasn't. He's fine. And he even gets Beast Spoil's troops in as well. So I feel like he can put another troop. Maybe not. Anyways. So Muad'Dib's going to win this. 4 endgame points here. Which is completely absurd. He's going to pick up some spice as well. So he is totally good here. Looks like Gurney's going to win the conflict. Shaddam gets to trash that for a point at least. Gets to 8. Spicer's Flow's coming, so A late charge here from Fumbles is going to take him into at least 3rd place here. With his couple of endgame points. But I don't think he's going to be able to do any more here. Yeah, he should have taken that. Well, it's extra swords. He might harass Shaddam here. He's got 10 swords to throw at this. Shaddam just found detonation out of Spy Network, so... No way! No way is Shaddam gonna win this! Oh, I don't think he can. I don't think he can. It's 3 swords, and he gets the troop in off of Unswerving. It's just enough to keep out of reach of Shaddam, who's only got +6. He's 1 short of forcing a tie. Fenderico's going to sit there and think, can I actually win this? Muad'Dib plays his intrigues because he figures, might as well. It's 10 strength, but, you know, in case, like, Shaddam's going to retreat. So, I don't know. Just figures I've got him, I might as well play him. But Shaddam cannot use Spice's power to beat him. Does Shaddam retreat to take the extra spice here for tiebreakers? I don't know. I think you're meant to retreat here. You still need to take a card officially, yes. I don't know, I think take Retreating Spice's power, giving up the intrigue for the extra spice for tiebreakers, that might be relevant, I don't know. Interesting little spot, I'm sure comments will have something to say about that. But nothing else to do here. So Fenderico will get a point, and I guess he gets to have a spin at the Bene Gesserit, and... Oh, he didn't have any worms anyway, so he gets that. 2 endgame points for Fumbles, but it's 4 endgames for Muad'Dib's going to do the job here. Which means Muad'Dib wins it. Fumbles manages to actually make 2nd place here, out of kind of nowhere. Super late game charge. Fenderico have to sit with 3rd. And a disappointing fault for Margot Fenring. Been a curious one, this. I mean, Muad'Dib, we can say that they were lucky, and, alright, maybe they were lucky to find it. They ran through about, like, 12 to 15 intrigues, and no one did anything about them. Like, just let them have all of them. No one ever stole any from them, so maybe there is a bit of fortune, but if no one's ever taken them from you, like, you kind of get what you're going to get here. I think Fumbles has done incredibly well to get 2nd place here, by the way. Like, managing to basically find, like, 6, 7 points in the last couple of rounds. Like, was looking a long way behind for a lot of this, so done really well to come back. And oh no, it's 3rd place. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Fenderico. Sorry, my bad. So sorry, quick correction there. Actually, so Fumbles actually only making 3rd place. I thought he'd actually managed to pick 2nd on this Spice tiebreak, but Gurney, of course, gets his friendship point. I did miscount that there. So yeah, pretty crazy game. I mean, Alex can say he was very lucky, and maybe you could argue that he was, but truthfully, like, you know, when you get that many intrigues and no one's taken any from you, like, you're going to find a lot of good ones. This is where someone like Captured Mentat, for example, to Imperial Privilege, is so powerful, because you're just seeing so many intrigues in such a short space of time that you're going to get lots of really powerful ones. I mean, you think Muad'Dib didn't even find some of the best ones, Spice's Power, Spring the Trap, Buy Access, all that sort of stuff, you know. But yeah, no one ever bothered to take any of his intrigues, so he's able to just stack up tons of them and get tons of value. That's the way it goes sometimes. Pretty crazy stuff here. I think Fenderico, I guess, will be happy enough with 2nd place, given the way the situation is. Probably feels a bit aggrieved that Red had 4 in-game victory points, and it is kind of nuts. I can't remember the last time I've seen that. I don't think I've ever seen an Uprising. Not much Yellow could have done here. I think, kind of just... I don't know, like, started off reasonably well enough. I just, again, go back to the Arakeen move, and it just felt ever since they went for that, it kind of sort of spiraled away from there. But yeah, pretty crazy old match this here. So here's a look at the table after that one, and by hook or by crook, Powerkek makes it 2 from 2 in the group. He might not quite know how he's managed it, but regardless, he takes a commanding position at the top of the table. Batata and Fumbles both, unfortunately, 2 not-so-great results, means there could be pressure on them later on in the table. Fenderico, I think, would be happy enough with taking the 3 points from the first game. I don't think he felt like he could have really done too much more. So I think he played a pretty solid game overall, amongst all of the carnage going on around him. So I think he'll feel fairly happy with that. Obviously, myself and Sneaker still yet to play. That's going to do it for us here in this video. Yeah, I've kind of given my mop-up. I don't want to give some more, but I've literally got another game to comment on in like 10 minutes from time of recording. So I got to go get ready for that. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Yeah, what a strange old match. I'll see you then.